Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to an advanced class. If you can't make it work, don't worry. We're gonna have out the mat, catch me, I'll show you again, right? But just try your best to get it done as good as possible. For those of you who don't know me yet, I'm Dennis. Feel free to come by and ask anything you want, right? And I really mean it. Like, we have the problem with the coaches that everyone says, come, catch me if you have any questions. Most people don't do it. So just come. We don't have hierarchy or anything. Okay, so just come and ask questions. Use that possibility. Like, you have almost free private lessons if you want to, right? So make use of that. Come by and ask questions as much as possible. And I know that many of you have many questions in mind but can't articulate them because you've been bombarded with techniques over techniques. So write them down. Very good. Right? Write questions down. Ask different coaches, get different perspectives. Right? So today's class is about 50-50 variation. Who is familiar with 50-50? Please raise your hands. Okay, very good. Who's familiar with heel mechanics? Very good. Who of you know double 50? Right, it's gonna be fun. Okay, so first we're gonna dissect a little why we even need that position, okay? I'm gonna show it very briefly. Look at Paul here. Like, the most positions you are aware of is cross inside ashi, or saddle, or whatever you want to call it, right? You know that position. And most of you know 50-50, right? Those positions are really, really common and really effective because you have an inside heel hook available. One of the best joint locks we have. It's really effective, right? In both positions, one of the central problems is hiding the heel and turning out. Okay, so when we're in cross inside, for example, Paul wants to hide his foot. And yes, I can follow, but against good opposition, it's really hard to follow through without losing him and without exposing my back. So if you want to see how you expose the back off of inverting through from here, just look at the match from Felipe Pena against Gordon Ryan the first time. That's exactly what he did, right? People were inverting here and not gonna happen. So the only difference there was that Felipe took a back off of it. So that's not a good thing. So I need to manage that rotation somehow. And it's the same in 50-50. Some of you may know that we have regular 50-50, then we have an inside knee position, which some of you call 80-20. Then we have cross hip or outside sankaku or 90-10, right? And in all those positions, even if I'm here, even though I have a big advantage, people still are gonna rotate, and force normal 50-50 again. So even in 50-50, rotation is a problem, right? And the advantage that 50-50 has over cross inside in that regard is that there's not as much back exposure. So people are not gonna attack your back off of those rolls as much as against cross inside ashi. I'm gonna illustrate some of those things later so you see what I mean by that. If you can't follow me on that yet, that's not a problem, right? So, but that's the central issue we have with those positions. And we need to find ways to manage that. And double 50 is one way to manage that. And we're gonna start with just the position itself and how to break a foot from there, or a knee, depending on what goes first, right? And then we're gonna go and start and cross inside and 50-50 and pummel our way into those positions against a resisting opponent that tries to rotate out. And if we have time left, we may do an entry. Okay, so that's pretty simple stuff for that position. The hard part about that is that if you're not familiar with the fundamental positions surrounding that, it's gonna be harder to follow. That's why I labeled it an advanced class, not because it's super complicated, but because you need to know some things in order for you to make it work proficiently, right? So what we're gonna do, let's switch sides for a second. We're gonna start in 50-50. So everyone, or both of us have a leg across. Both of us have the same opportunities regarding the heel, as long as we're both neutral, right? Just to get into the position, what we're gonna do is have our partner step over into backside 50-50. So he steps over and creates the backside. This is called backside 50-50. It's about orientations, right? Backside because I'm on the backside and he's facing away, which is a really, really good thing. So for now, I just grab the heel, pinch this a little and bring this one over. Don't worry, you're not gonna do it like that normally, right? And now Paul is just gonna bring his knee down. I grab the foot and I bring knee pit to knee pit and pinch this towards me, right? This knee flares towards the ground so he can't straighten his leg properly. If I'm loose here, he may be able to straighten it, pull it out. I don't want that, right? So I'm gonna pressure down, the foot is raising up, and I'm curling this towards my butt. And from here, you see I have the heel already. This is the position we wanna go into, and this is called double 50, because I've had both legs controlled. And even if Paul tries to rotate out, it's either he can't or I can follow, right? So if he tries to backstep from here, it's no big deal. Like if I have good pressure, it's really hard to do it. Come on, come on, come on. I think he needs to lift a little, right? I think that's the issue. So did you see what he did now? He couldn't rotate, he needed to get rid of this leg first. And that's what we want, right? So we want him to not be able to rotate without clearing that foot. And we're not gonna let that happen, okay? But practice that once. So we're here, I pinch and Paul tries to backstep. And it should be really, really hard, okay? So from here, it's a basic heel mechanic. You wanna go a little bit belly down if you can, and just do a rotational break, pulling this towards your other shoulder. It's not a lateral break, it's a rotational break. So get a good grip. If you want to, you can practice it with a false grip. Just go belly down a little, pull it over, and there's your finish. If you have problems going belly down for whatever reason, it can be hard to finish here. You also can switch to the reverse figure 4 grip, and this will be the strongest break from here. So if you have the capacity to do that, you can practice it alone, right? Some of you have visited Charles' class on the Scorpion Deathlock. That's where we did it, right? So might as well practice it again. It's the strongest break we can get, okay? So once more, we're gonna start in a regular 50-50. I'm gonna shallow close my legs. Paul is gonna step over. I'm gonna control the knee for a second. He can bring his leg up for a second again, so I can just pummel my foot out. Now he's gonna come down again. I grab it, knee pit to knee pit. I'm gonna curl. This one I'm gonna close down, foot up, knee to the ground. And from here, I have an easy heel hook catch. If you don't know how to heel hook yet, that's no issue. Just come till here and that's it. But if you want to, you can go rotational belly down finish, or if you have problems going belly down, you can always switch to the reverse figure 4. And see, I don't even need to close it properly. There's already a tap, right? So that's how we start. We just start in the position so you can familiarize yourself a little bit with it and know where you need to go. And then we're gonna pummel into that position from cross inside and normal 50-50, and maybe do an entry afterwards. Does anybody need to see it again, or is that all right? Need to see it again? Not usually. He steps over from normal 50-50. If you have problems coming into 50-50, grab me. Okay, I'll help you. Now I'm gonna open up my legs. Don't worry about the heel, the knee yet. Just grab it, pull your foot out. Now my partner is doing me the favor of coming down towards the knee. I go knee pit to knee pit, grab the foot, curl it, bring the knee down, bring the foot up, and from here we have easy catches. It's just the initial position. And now we're not gonna enter like that, of course. It's just to get familiarized with the position itself, so you know where you need to be. All right?
Yes.
1, 2.
The Italian crowd? Sorry? Are you with the Italian crowd?
Hier zurück. Du tust das Knie auf den
Could everybody make that position work? Could you enter the position? Was everything like relatively correct? Everyone got it?
Yep.
It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be good enough so you can reproduce it at home, okay? We don't need perfection yet. We need you to be able to reproduce it at home, practice is there. Because all of you know that just with this one session, you will not be able to pull it off, right? But we want to get there so you can do it on your own without it falling apart completely. Delay. So is everybody clear why it's a good idea to do that. Like, do you understand the how? Be honest. If you don't understand it, just tell me. I'll explain it again. Let's just pretend it's a yes. Okay, so now when you paid attention at Paul's class, you know you can backstep off of the cross knee slide if you use the underhook and go into cross inside ashi, right? That's where we're going to start now. So we start in proper position, right? You don't need to use an entry, just enter the position, have your knees aligned relatively well, and now when you want to get the heel. The problem is he knows how to defend it, right? So he's going to turn the heel in and maybe even post here, which is a problem. So now if I just roll through, he will be able to beat me or even worse, take my back off of it. So I need to find a way to pummel in the position we just did, double 50, for him to not be able to rotate even further, right? When I do that, I really want to have a control point at the secondary leg. This is the primary leg, this is the secondary leg. So all I do is I just want to catch the foot. I don't need more because he can't not pull it further towards himself up to a certain degree. He just can kick it out that way. So most of the time, this will be enough. I just need a grip over the foot, and it's going to be really, really hard to negate that. I want to have my elbow on the inside. Don't worry about the heel at all. Okay, so don't try to catch it. Just try to follow, right? And I'm going to extend the top foot so I have a good hook behind his knee pit. And from here, I'm just going to initiate the rotation. I don't wait for him to rotate. I initiate it, and if he doesn't do anything, I can even finish belly down if I want to. But good people notice that they want to get the angle back, that they need to be able to order for them to hide the heel, right? So when I start going belly down, I'm going to bring this leg even further through, right? So this one, and don't worry, we're going to change angles in a second. This one wants to come in between the legs. It's okay to finish here, like Craig showed that, right? But if you want to have the position we've been doing and not a variation off of it, you want to pummel the foot in onto the inside. And sometimes this is enough because I just created the position we want to get into. But if he's good, he's going to rotate further and I need to follow. And as long as I have a good bite on the leg here, I can finish on the low side, right? If he's able to further rotate, that's no big issue. We do a second rotation and catch it in that rotation. And I never let go of that leg. So be prepared to roll through at least 2 times. Because if people go quick, you're gonna catch the position in the first roll and the heel in the second roll. Right, so be prepared for that. Don't practice it like that at the beginning, but be prepared of it. Okay, so we're gonna change the direction so you can see better. So we're going to start in cross inside ashi, right? So the foot is across again. Legs to the outside would be 50-50. Legs to the inside is cross inside ashi. Now we're going to align our knees, and he's going to hide. I'm going to extend the leg, catch the knee pit of the secondary leg. I'm just going to grab the foot. Now I go belly down, and I try to put the foot on the inside. And here we have our finish. That's the position we went into just a couple of minutes ago. If he keeps rotating, sometimes it's hard to catch. So I need to get a second rotation and I catch him here. And now it's the finish we've been doing. So if worse comes to worse, you pummel into position in the first or during the first roll and pummel the heel hook in the second one. You can practice it like that, or you can just put everything together in the first roll for the second. So now, as with everything we do, you need to practice that with timing as soon as you are able to do the technique itself proficiently. Because people are going to spin fast, and you need to practice that. So if you're not familiar with it, then now is not the time for that. But when you're at home, you can make it work. You need to tell your partner to start spinning a little more. And if you can make it work, go quicker until he spins full speed and you can still make it work. Otherwise, you will not be able to pull it off. Okay? Anybody need to see it again? Okay, so we start in an initial position, cross inside out, right? He hides the heel. I extend the top leg and I grab with my second. So we're here, right? That's all we need. From here, I initiate. I don't wait for him. I initiate. Come up to my forehead and I want to pummel the foot in if I can. If I'm here, it's not enough. I need to really bite down on it. If I can't catch the heel, fine. But if he starts rotating or even more, I need to follow. Just keep this. You can even pull it into your bicep if you want. From here, you just keep the rotation and catch it in a second. And then we have the finishing mechanics we've just been talking about. Okay? Do it really slow, without resistance. Give your partner enough time to pummel the legs properly. Give them enough time to catch the heel. All right? 1, 2. Easy, right? So, your uke, your partner, tries to not overspeed. What I mean by that is be slow enough that your partner can follow through. So if you rotate, come to your knees, but don't fall further. Okay, this comes later, right? Because if you do that, your partner needed to rotate again, which is no big deal, but if your partner's not there yet, it's gonna be hard and the angle doesn't fit very well, right? I'm gonna show what I mean very briefly. So we're here, we're in position, he hides it. I catch, I straighten, right? I initiate, I don't wait for him. So now if we are here and Paul falls towards his hip, now my angle is off. Now I need to go again and I can pummel this foot in the transition. And now I can catch it, right? But if he falls towards his hip, I can't stay, I need to keep rotating, right? And if your partner is not quick enough to do that, you're gonna lose the position. So try not to over-rotate and stay on your knees for your partner for a second so they can pummel their legs if they have problems. But if that occurs, just know that you need to keep rotating until you have your feet in position and have a good bite on his legs so he can't rotate you anymore, right?
Yes.
Any questions regarding that?
I have a question.
Yes.
And you mentioned it in your last class as well. You said taking back to the club, you can increase resistance with your strength, but you can also practice timing-based improvements and resistance in quotes. How do you do that? How do you communicate to your partner so that the timing increments or their speed of rolling increments correctly for you to actually practice that without it becoming too difficult?
It's very simple. Just tell him. It sounds stupid, right? But if he's too quick, say slow down a little. If he's still too quick, slow down even more. If he's too slow, a little faster. And you do that until you have it right and figure it out.
Okay.
But with more experienced training partners, there will not be an issue anymore because they get the feeling of it, right? But with people that are not experienced training with timing, you need to do that a couple of times until they get a feel for it. But then it will not be a problem anymore. Just communicate it. Just be straight about it, and that's it. It's pretty simple. You just need to be upfront about it.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Good. Any further questions?
Yeah. Can
Yeah.
you show again in which time you get the bite with the how do you call it?
Like knee pit to knee pit?
Knee pit to knee pit.
Yeah.
Yes.
As soon as possible. So it will be different every time because your legs and your partner's legs are going to be different depending on what your partner has. So it's not the same with every partner you have because of anatomy, right? So when we're here and we're going to come over, I want to pull this into position as soon as possible. But be aware that if you pull it close, there might be no gap here anymore, right? So there's a little trade-off, right? But if he starts rotating again, then there's space again, right? And that's very, very important because if you do it slow, you can keep your knees tight. But if you want to rotate fast, you need to open up because you're not athletic if you are here. That's not going to go fast, right? So you need to open up to rotate quickly, and that opens up space for you to be able to pummel your feet easier. So that's something to keep in mind when you practice it. Give your partner a little space, and you will see that once you do it a little quicker, space will open up automatically and you have more space. Good? Good. So, now, some of you may prefer 50-50 over cross inside, and you don't want to end up in cross inside. So now I can show you 1,000 ways to upgrade your position. And we don't have time for that, right? So figure it out. If you have problems, ask away, right? But first, I want to get an inside knee position, because now I have a better angle to attack him, and he's off worse. Even better if I can place the foot on the stomach and come cross hip. That's even better, right? And from here, a lot of the time, it's more than enough to just come belly down, catch the heel, and go there right away. But when we're here and Paul starts rotating through, we went up here. Maybe I can catch it in the backside. If he keeps rotating and beats me to it, he can force normal 50-50 again. So if I'm not quick enough, I need to start all over. And I don't want to do that, right? So what we're going to do is the exact same thing we've been doing from another position. So when we're here, bring the foot on the chest, come over into cross hip. As I said before, don't worry about how to get there yet. Familiarize yourself with it, and I'll show you a million ways to get there, an open mat, whatever, right? So when we're here, he wants to bring this one away. I catch it, I come belly down, and I feel that he will rotate because I can't catch it. But space will emerge, and I will pull this one out, and it's the same thing again. Sometimes I need to come to belly down, sometimes I need to roll through all the way, sometimes I can catch it here. The orientations differ, but the mechanics and how to get there will stay the same. By orientations, I mean what angle do we have in relation to the floor. Belly down means belly's pointing to the ground, forehead on the floor. Low side means the heel is on the low side, right? So here, we're neutral. This would be the high side. This would be the low side. This would be belly down, and if we rotate through, this is the back side. And if he backsteps, we're back to neutral again, or high side, depending on how far he goes. So depending on how quick he rotates, and in which instant you can catch the heel and pummel the position, the orientation will change. But the overall concept doesn't change. It will still remain the same. Okay, so it's the same as before. Now we start in 50-50. Foot to the stomach, go cross hip. Knee to the inside, don't be here, right? Knee to the inside, elbow on the inside. He tries to bring his foot away, I catch it. From here I come belly down. If he doesn't do anything, I'll just catch the heel and finish right here. But he will keep spinning, right? So I need to use that to pummel this one into the knee pit again. And sometimes I can catch it here, sometimes I need to go belly down. Sometimes I need to go all the way through till we are back in the position we've just been doing all the time. Right, once more, different angle. 50-50, foot to the stomach, inside knee position. Come over to cross hip, or outside sankaku, or 90-10, whatever you want to call it. Elbows on the inside, grab the foot, come belly down. If I can catch it, great, but he hides it and he keeps rotating. This gives me space to pummel this one out. He will keep rotating, right, because he doesn't want to get catched. And I keep spinning until I can catch the heel. So, as soon as I got the heel, I can let go of the second one and finish. Always keep the secondary leg. I don't let it loose until I have the heel. Okay, keep that in mind. And just as before, sometimes it takes you 2 rotations to get. Oftentimes, I get the position in the first rotation and get the heel in the second one. But try to follow through and initiate the roll. Don't follow him. He's not initiating. I am. And I can because of my leg position. Right? And this way I'll be able to catch the heel and outspin him, / make him slower. Because if I can't increase my speed, I just need to decrease his. And then I can catch it. Good? 1, 2. So we're running out of time because Gabriel was late, right? So now we need to be a little bit quicker and show you a quick entry. And if you want to, you will take it with you into the open mat. If not, we've got it filmed, so you can rewatch it and do it then. So it's no problem, but I at least want to show it, right? But before we do that, any big issues with the thing I just showed? That's good.
Well, sometimes it feels a bit loose, and I'm not sure I can help my partner because it feels really loose sometimes to catch it with the other side if I go out and re-entangle everything.
So the good thing, if I understand correctly, is as long as you have a good bite retracting the top leg, it's going to be easy to re-catch the knee even if you lose it.
Okay.
Right? As long as you have the foot in front. So what I mean by that is, if I have Paul for a second, and we're going to start here, right? And even like if we rotate through, as long as I have a good bite with this leg here, right? I can pull this out without any issue, right? He can pull it back, he cannot get this on out, and even, let's say I make a mistake, he gets it out. I can just grab the knee and pull it back in. It's really simple as long as you use this leg to do it. Because even if he gets his knee heavy onto the floor, as long as I catch it, I can always use this push to make it light to catch it back. Right? But as long as you have both legs controlled, it's going to be really hard to run away out of this position. So it's more a rotational problem than people going to run away from you. Right? So if you're a little loose at the beginning, don't worry. What you can do is, while you practice the rotation slowly, try to make your partner pull out and see if you can control it. First just a little, and then you can go harder. And if you do it relatively correctly, your partner is just going to pull you over the mat. He will not be able to retract his knee and create a distance if it's relatively correct. Does that answer your question, Tom? Any further questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Yes, I'm not that familiar with footlock stuff, and often I get countered with other footlock stuff. So is there any part of the movement where my own feet are in danger, where I have to be careful?
In the starting position more so than at the end. Like if you start on 50-50, then yes, your feet are in danger, right? That's why we update the position so we get an advantage, can hide our feet better, and at the same time get an angle advantage, right? So 50-50 is not an easy game to play, but even at the beginning, I would advise you to play with it because it solves the problem of not being conscious about your own feet. Because you need to be conscious about your own feet position all the time. And if you learn that right at the beginning, you will fail a little more often, right? But if you learn how to protect your own feet while you attack someone's feet, it's going to be way better for you in the long run because you have that ingrained into you. With cross inside, it's a little different, right? Your feet are better protected, but I would still advise you to look into 50-50 and play around with that rule because at the highest level, you need to be able to combine those. Because one position covers the weaknesses of the other. So it's really hard to get good people with just one of those positions. You need to be able to switch it up. That's why I would suggest looking into 50-50 as well as cross inside. You will have a position that fits your game more, and that's totally fine, but you need to know your way in and out of both. Does that answer the question a little bit? If not...
If the answer is no, then yes.
Grab me after, I'm going to explain more. Okay? So now, I want to very, very briefly show the entry and then you're off to open mat, right? So you need to be able to invert into the legs for many, many entries. So you can do inversion drills or gravity drills like this, right? And go into 50-50 or backside 50-50 and do all those things, right? This helps you to actually hit the entries because you know how to shuffle your feet from it. If you want to have an easy entry into the position we've been doing, is one leg to the inside, one leg to the outside. The outside leg is going to come around, so I need to adjust my angle.
bring it in onto the hip and rotate back to get my knee right behind his. And now I just use the scoop grips I have to bring him forward. And from here, I just need to pummel this one through, and we're in position, right? Be aware that if that's the way you pummel into it, you are a little prone to counter back takes. So you need to keep that in mind, right? But that's at the beginning the easiest way. Because if I want to be not countered by counter back takes, I need to pummel a little more proficiently, but it's more work. So we need to take a detour for him to not be able to do that. So if Paul's going to do it to me once, do it to me. So when we're here, right? And he brings one leg to the inside, well, just stay there. One leg to the inside, one leg to the outside. If I'm really good, I can short sit scissor wedge him from here. And we have back takes, right? And this is one of the problems if one leg is to the inside, one leg is to the outside. But it's the easiest for you guys to enter that. If you're a little more advanced, what you can do is pummel the 50-50 hook with catch here first. And now pummel this in. Because the 50-50 hook prevents him from pummeling into the back take. Right? So we need to take a detour for us to be able to hit it. But then it's the same thing. Right? And it doesn't matter how you enter the position, you will use those things. So let's say we're in reverse delta riva. And from here, I want to unbalance. Keep standing. So we're going to unbalance. We're going to get into position. And see, this is the way into it. If we do an outside spin, Blackland style, it's pretty much the same thing. So we're here. We're outside spinning, right? And once we're here, we can recatch, bring the foot on the back of the knee, bring this one over, catch it, and do the same entries. Some of you went to the retention, the gut retention, highlight gut retention we did. You can use that from there. So Paul tries to come here, and I'm going to highlight. I can, depending on which one is closer, attack the legs again. So I can use that to just go into position and do all the things we've been doing. That's why it's a good idea to practice inversions. As soon as you're able to do it, it's a really, really mighty tool. Okay? And it's fun. It's a fun play or fun game to play. Okay, so now I know it's been a lot, but you can re-watch it. And if you have questions, grab me, right? I'm going to answer your questions, right? And feel free to ask away, right? Remember what I said at the beginning. Grab the coaches, ask questions, use it. It's a great possibility for you, okay? Let's take a quick picture. Thank you very much.